Alrighty folks, I'm going to show you how to repair. See these holes for hinges? How to repair those holes. So it'll either be a screw hole or a nail hole that you want to repair, so you can use the hinge or nail or screw something into this hole to affix something to a cabinet, wood, what have you. I got these cabinets, garage cabinets, off of Craigslist. And this hinge was ripped off along with this piece of wood. I've repaired this piece of wood and glued it back on. And now I've got to repair the hinge holes. The holes are just too big. They've been stripped out. Okay, here's how I'm going to do this. I'm going to use some Titebond glue. Premium. I like the blue label. Put a little bit in a container here. I've got some matchsticks and toothpicks. This is the little container I have to make this magic happen. So it's got some matchsticks in it, toothpicks, popsicle sticks, and that's what I use to repair nail or screw holes that are stripped out too big. So what I'm going to be using are matchsticks. Now I did want to point this out, even though it doesn't bother me or freak me out, but for safety's sake, strike the match, put it out so it doesn't strike itself when you're working, because of course it would cause a fire. I'm going to put the matchstick in here, just trying different sizes of wood to determine what will fill these holes, because I want all the gaps filled. So I like that. What I will do is put the matchstick in first, show you how I do that. Cut it off using some dikes to do that right there. And whatever is above the surface, and I'll show you that, I'm going to use a hole punch here. To punch it in so it sits level at the surface. So this is what you do. You just try to figure out what size the hole is and how big a piece of wood you need. Usually the matchsticks and the toothpicks do fine. You can run to the store and buy dowels, but I wouldn't bother. So I'm going to start this repair because I'm pretty confident that this is what it will take. So here we go. So what I do is take a little bit of glue on this, and the glue will come out when you put it in the hole. In fact, what I'm going to do to make sure I've got a good amount down there, so I'm going to take a toothpick. I'm going to put some in initially, because some of the glue will want to come out when you put the matchstick in, or the dowel, if you will. So I'm going to fill this up. I'm also going to put some in a little hole right up there. I'm going to fill that with a toothpick because it's so small. I just don't want any gap in the wood when I go to fill or to pilot the holes for the hinge. So that's good. I'm going to put it in all of these. So if you strip the nail hole or screw hole of something, you can always fix it just like this. Whatever glue comes out, you want to have wet paper towels with you to be able to clean off the excess glue. I think I'm going to fill this in too right here with a matchstick, just to give it a little strength. All right, there you go. So that's the initial. Now I've got a little bit of glue on this and plenty of glue in there. I'm going to take this, sink it in that hole. I know that's the depth. I know it's in there tight. Then I'm going to take the dikes, which are these guys right here, and I'll get a paper towel. Hold the matchstick or whatever wood you're using. Cut it right off. See how that came off? Now, because this is not to surface, I'm going to use a hole punch and sink it, but not right yet. I'm going to fill in the others first. Little bit of glue. Make a good seal. Goes right in. All right. Again, take the dikes, make sure it's pushed in all the way, cut it right off. Just a little bit of glue, y'all, right there. It's really warm today, so it's drying quickly. Put it right in. Sink it to the depth of it and nip it off with your dikes. There you go. I'm going to take this hole punch right here, this hammer. Make sure you steady the cabinet. So you put the hole punch directly on top of the center of that matchstick you've already sunk. Give it a little punch. What that does is it sinks it to the surface, which is at the surface now. And it also causes that matchstick to expand a little bit and take up the gap where there is no wood, because the screw was there before, and again, these were stripped out, so the holes are larger than they should be. And again, you go right up here to the next one, sink it, and the next one. All right. So now we'll clean off the glue. See how good we got with that. That one I need to sink a little more. That one's great. If they are above the surface more than you want them to be, and they dry that way, it's not a big thing. You can take a chisel and take that off. I have some areas around here that I'm not too happy with that need a toothpick. Little fill-in right there. That one's good, although I could put, gotta put some there. See how she fits. She fits very well. There's a little play, but not much. So I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take it off with the dikes. There you go. Yeah, that's the one. So it's just a series of trying different sizes of wood to see what feels best to you as far as filling that gap, the void in there. And I'm going to take that. You want to clean off the glue while it's wet, because you can get it off with the chisel when it's dry, but it's just easier to get it off when it's wet. Just want to feel for fleshness at the surface, at the wood you put in. We have a gap here, but I'm going to try to fill that gap. That'll fit in there nicely. Using a toothpick to put in a little glue in here. There's a gap that I'm filling with that matchstick. Goes all the way up, comes right there. I'm going to put quite a bit in because I'm not going to be able to put any on the other piece. Then I'll just pooch out and I will remove the excess. Right up in there. Sink that. Make sure the glue gets on it. Moist paper towel, clean off the excess glue. So I'm really happy with this. And again, what happens is after it's dry and it sits, I leave it 24 hours before I do anything with it. Put the hinge back on, put a nail in, whatever it is you want to do, a screw or a nail. When you then do the pilot hole, or just put the screw in, but please do a pilot hole. It just makes it a lot easier and cleaner work, more detail. It expands that wood. So this wood's going to be as solid as this wood right here that's not disturbed. You wait 24 hours, let it get nice and solid and dry. And again, if you have any wood that's not flush with the cabinet or the wood, take a chisel and scrape it off. Just be very careful about that. Don't gouge into the wood. Or you can use some sandpaper. And then after that, you're ready to go. I would drill the pilot holes. What I mean by that, of course, I'm not going to do it now. Line this up where you want it. I already know where I want it. And then I take a pencil or an ice pick, something sharp. and I do a little dot right in the center of each of these holes. And then I take a drill bit that is a little bit smaller than the screw size itself, and I drill a hole, and then the screw goes in really nicely. You don't split the wood, things like that. So I'm a big fan of pilot holes. And now what will happen after that is clean them up, and I will be able to put the hinge on, pilot holes, pre-drill it, put the hinge on, and I have a cabinet door that then works. So y'all save yourself money and do this stuff yourself if you can. Some people, I'm sure, would go out and get a new cabinet door or make one or what have you, or have somebody repair it. Ain't no need for it. Y'all are plenty smart enough to do this yourself. Enjoy, y'all. We did another good job. Hope this helps.